Venom is back with its third entry. Let's talk about it.
I'm with you to the end.
Before we get into The Last Dance, I do want to kind of talk about the Venom movies as a whole, because I know there's a lot of Venom movie lovers out there, but for me, I'm kind of in a love-hate relationship with them. Like, I enjoy how they're fun popcorn movies. They're just like a buddy cop romance between Eddie and Venom throughout the whole time. They're arguing, but they love each other at the same time. Then they're fighting some random person at the end, but they also serve no purpose at all in the main scheme of Marvel, because it's basically Sony, and their Sony Spider-Man universe films are useless because they try to make Spider-Man villains into anti-heroes and put them into their own movies without Spider-Man himself. Like, that's always baffled me. Like, how can you make a Morbius movie, a Venom movie, a Craven movie coming up with no Spider-Man? Like, all I want to see is Spider-Man and Venom fight, but now we fit the third movie and no Spider-Man is in sight. So I just have to live with it, I guess, but we can hope that Craven is good, because these Spider-Man Sony movies have been a bit of a disappointment, I guess you could say, a bit, but most people would say a huge disappointment. Like, Morbius wasn't great, Madam Web was a huge disappointment, and I guess we weren't expecting much from them, but still, they could have been better. That brings me to my thoughts on this third entry, where Eddie and Venom are being pursued by the military and Noel, and I find this one to be a tough watch compared to the others, but it still is fun and worth a watch if you did watch the others, because thankfully it's not the worst one or the best one in my eyes. I still think the first Venom film is the best put together movie, and Let There Be Carnage is my least favorite because Woody Harrelson was just too goofy as Carnage for me. I thought the whole movie was way too goofy. The first one, though, is really great in my eyes. I really do love rewatching that one. I will say the marketing for these Venom movies has always been top notch, and this one is no different. Fortnite has added some new skins with She-Venom and Agony, which you might see in this movie, and Venom showed up on Hot Ones, which I thought was really funny, and you got some really cool Venom popcorn buckets at Regal. Not sure if AMC has any, but Regal does have some that I'm actually looking forward to getting. They look really cool, and the marketing was just top notch for this one, as always. What hurts this film so much is that the first act and part of the second act are really pointless and just feel like they had to add something in there to get to that third act, because once you do get to that third act, you're finally watching the Venom movie that you wanted, where it feels like kind of like the last stand for Venom at this point. And it's kind of like an Avengers Infinity War with a lot of symbiotes fighting, the creatures that Noel sends to go capture Venom. But the problem with that is that you really only get 15, maybe 20 minutes of that last fight with all the symbiotes, and it doesn't seem like it really landed as much as they wanted it to be. Like, they probably thought this was like a big scale huge fight, but no, it's not really like that huge of a fight. It really could have been bigger, and it is disappointing because as I said, the first half of the movie is kind of a slog to get through, even though I will say it is a pretty fast-paced movie. All I'm saying is, if they decide to make the whole movie like the third act, it would have been a great Venom movie instead of just an okay one. Another big issue that I had, which probably won't be a big issue for others, is the script. I thought this script was truly awful, and you're probably telling me, you're probably saying, oh, the Venom movies are silly, they don't need a good script. Well, the first one had a good script, so why can't this one? The second movie had an okay script, but the first one's script was actually really good. This one just seemed like Venom wrote it himself, which you're probably saying, that makes sense. But at the same time, it doesn't really help the movie's case. It just seems like Sony is trying to replicate the success of the first Venom movie with making horrible Sony spin-off movies which don't have any further implications that we will care about in the future. And the writing on this one just did not help, so that really just was a big issue for me in the first place. This isn't really a spoiler, but we have to talk about Noel because he does play a big part in the marketing, which is kind of funny because he only really shows up in the beginning of this film and in the post-credit scene, which I guess we could have all guessed. And it was revealed in the trailers that Andy Serkis is playing him, which is actually kind of cool because he gets to come back to this franchise after directing the second one. And I don't really know where they're going to go with Noel at this point, but they do need to fix the CGI on him because he looks pretty bad. Like, he kind of looks like a PS2 cutscene, but the other VFX in this movie was pretty great as always, with Venom and the fight and the action sequences looking great. It just seems like Null stuff was kind of last minute added, but we'll see where they go, either with Spider-Man 4 or, you know, Venom 4 at this point. Let's talk about the cast for a little bit. Got to talk about Tom Hardy as the main character Venom, and I really do hope he gets to come back and fight Spider-Man, but I don't really know what the conflict would be at that point because Eddie doesn't really get angry enough to fight. And, you know, this is kind of a goofy Venom compared to the Spider-Man 3 Venom that we saw. All in all, though, I thought Tom Hardy has done a great job with these 3 Venom movies and with the Venom character. I love the voice that he does, even though you can hardly understand it. Tom Hardy has always been such a great actor in doing these different voices. So yeah, I think he's just done a great job, even though his character is very goofy at times. Juno Temple also has a small role here and gets to play someone cool at the end of the film, but she also doesn't serve that big of a purpose here. Rhys Ifans is in the movie as a random dude looking for aliens. One thing that we could have done without, and it will just confuse the audience even more, because if you don't remember, Rhys Ifans played the Lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man film. But this is like a different universe, so he's not the Lizard here. It's really weird. I don't know why they couldn't have just cast someone else there. One person that I do wish got to come back was Michelle Williams, because she's not in this one, but she did play a huge part in why I like the first and second movies so much. I just liked her character a lot, and I wish she could have had at least one scene here. For the pacing, as I said, it's a pretty short movie, and it goes by really fast. It's only like an hour and 45 minutes, but those first 2 acts are still insanely pointless, and all the great stuff just happens in like the last 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, which was very disappointing for me. Overall, Venom: The Last Dance sits right in the middle of the Venom rankings for me. Not the worst one, but not the best one. It starts off as kind of like a nothing movie, but once it gets to that third act, you get to see what you want to see. Big action sequences with a lot of symbiotes, and the post-credit sequence is a nice tease for either Venom 4 or Spider-Man 4. I will always love Tom Hardy as Venom. Even though he was a bit goofy for my liking, he still was pretty cool. Venom: The Last Dance gets a 5.5 out of 10 for me. If you saw this third Venom movie, make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you did enjoy my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 800 subscribers, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.